My name is Kelsey Hill, and I'm running for Santa Cruz City Council.
Many Santa Cruz residents have been affected by the pandemic with concerns around childcare, unemployment, and more. As a member of the City Council, what will you bring to the COVID-19 response and reopening plans?
Thank you for your question. For one of my main tenets of my campaign is an equitable COVID-19 recovery, and I'm interested in ensuring that our eviction moratorium extends all the way through the course of this pandemic, as well as making sure that we don't balance the budget on the backs of our workers, and so that cuts that have to happen occur as far away as possible from struggling families and from our essential services. And I'm also interested in making sure that the resources that help communities and families get through this struggle, be it food assistance, gas assistance, tenant protections, childcare, that the city is doing the best we can to support these endeavors, existing frameworks as well as creating new ones.
Amid the current racial justice movement at the national and local level, what response would you like to see the council take?
So in our community here in Santa Cruz, we clearly have a community that is invested and interested in racial justice. But right now in the current social climate, I don't know if our city government is doing as much as we can to respond to the current social justice climate around racial matters. Yesterday, I was at the mural for Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter mural being painted in front of City Hall. And while I think that's an incredible show of solidarity from our community, I would like to see more policies being put into effect to back up that energy we have around racial justice in our community. In example, one of my policy pillars on my platform is around community safety. I would like to see that funds are being reallocated from systems that enforce mass policing, which disproportionately impacts Black and Brown people, into systems that more adequately affirm care and address the root causes of systemic injustice, including houselessness, substance misuse, mental health crises, in a way that moves forward our community in line with our values, as well as creating a more equitable space for Black, Indigenous, and POC folks to live and thrive.
What is one more thing you want voters to know about your platform or goals for Santa Cruz County?
So my platform centers on 4 key issues that I have gleaned from talking to community members about the issues that are impacting people most directly during this pandemic, and also the overlapping crises of the wildfire and the current moment around racial justice. So one, an equitable recovery from COVID-19, one that protects small businesses, one that utilizes innovative solutions like grant funding, open air markets, things like that, to better see us through this economic recession that we will be staring down, and our budget deficit. Again, making cuts that don't disproportionately impact our workers or struggling community members, and tackling budgetary bloat before we even consider cutting essential services. 2, affordable housing, which is a tenet that everybody talks about in a city council race in Santa Cruz, but I'm committed to breaking ground on projects that are truly affordable to low income, very low income, and even no income levels. I'm interested in pursuing community land trusts, which puts public land in a land trust and that has community buy-in on issues of housing. Additionally, I like to expand access to home ownership through the creation of TOPAs, which are Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Acts, which give tenants the right or the ability to purchase their home that is being put on the market. It gives them time to find a lender and things like that. And it's been used to combat gentrification in Washington, D.C., as well as in some cities in the Bay Area. 3 is climate justice. I consider myself to be a strong advocate on climate, and Santa Cruz has done a lot here in our community to empower the environmental momentum in our community, but I think that there's still a lot more that we can do. And as we can see in the wildfire situation that we're still recovering from, the air quality is really bad as I'm speaking, that climate crisis is at our door, and we no longer have the time to debate about what is feasible around fossil fuel transportation, infrastructure that relies on heavy carbon use. We need to sever the reliance that we have on fossil fuels immediately, and I would like to see our climate action plans emboldened and build resilience around climate catastrophe, especially in communities that are vulnerable, that are the most vulnerable to climate chaos. And then 4 is community safety. As I mentioned earlier, the concept of safety in our community should not be reliant on a $30 million police budget that relies on mass policing of poor, marginalized, historically marginalized, and folks struggling from houselessness or substance misuse or mental health crises. I'm interested in exploring alternatives to mass policing, similar to the Cahoots model. In addition, I want to make sure that as we go through the course of this pandemic and into the economic recession, that we ensure that services that act as social safety nets for people that are experiencing crime or crises can be taken care of through this framework. So sheltering, resources, social work, things like that. And there's a lot of energy and momentum in our community around that situation. And so we need to make sure that we are comprehensively looking into the future in a way that protects vulnerable community members instead of using incarceration and citation as our response to mental health crises or crime that could be prevented by better access to community care.